Really, the subject matter is extranos, which is a Latin phrase that means outside of us. And the whole point is there's been, at least for, I would say, 20 years now, maybe a little longer, the dominant reign of Calvinistic thought in the CHH genre. And it's contributed much good. And I think that God is telling a story with this genre, and as it sort of evolves and passes through time, other influences will enter into it, and the hope is to extract the good from all of those influences in hopes to find the simplicity of the text, in hopes to find the simplicity of the human experience, in hopes to find, really the simplicity of making an impact in this world. And I salute the time period where I think Reformed thought was really leading the way. But it's on a personal level, my journey, I think, has been a major part of that story. And, I don't regret my time in the Calvinistic world. I feel like God was using it to continue my own personal journey. And as I expose those ideas to the world, I think it served many, it served myself. But eventually a lot of the ideas started to wane. They started to taper off, and it left emptiness there. It actually started to bring in more questions than answers. So as I began to search and seek, what is this void? How do I fill this void? What's out there? In a way, God just providentially moves things around. I ended up in a Lutheran school. I learned a great deal of new ideas to myself, not to church history, not to the majority of Christianity all over the world, but to myself. I just never been exposed to Lutheran thought, which was interesting because in the Calvinistic circle, we champion Luther, but there's much that's kept at bay. So when I found out these new set of ideas and this sort of fresh approach, which really was an old approach, I found freedom, I found new verbiage, I found more gospel hope that reaches all the way back to 2nd century, 3rd century, when the closing of the New Testament happened, and then Christianity is sort of handed off to the North African brothers who nurtured Christianity and help it become more solidified and solid. And in Lutheranism, I found those ideas, I found those figures. They were championed, they were heralded. And I said, man, I gotta let my constituents know, people that have been influenced by me over the years, I gotta let them know this treasure, this hidden treasure that I found that has brought so much peace, so much clarity, and has been able to really just give me this reinvigorated approach to life with the simplicity of this. Assurance of salvation comes from outside of us. And God's going to assure us what he did on the cross in his son Jesus historically long ago, and how he applies that through his word and his sacraments. And now I have the freedom to simply live on earth, enjoy my life, and serve my neighbor. It's that simple. And I want Lutheranism to have a seat at the table. So every time we're talking about any subject and we're asking, what do our non-denominational brothers think? What do our Reformed Baptist and Calvinist Presbyterian brothers think? I think we simultaneously need to be asking, and also, what do Lutherans have to say about this? Because it's with this collective conscious of ideas, I think we'll have a better shot at finding the truth in the text, the simplicity of Christianity, so that we can really hold each other down and get busy in the world, doing good works, not thinking that we're doing them to get cool points with God or to feel better and more loved by God, because our love is already secured in what Jesus accomplished, not in how we progressively get better and show God how much more we really love him by praying more, reading scripture more, fasting more, evangelizing more, all this more, for the sake of loving God or something like that. It's like, let's X that toxic idea out. Realize that what Christ has established and how he applies it to us is sufficient enough for us to be made right with God. And then after that, we serve between us and others. It's that simple. You know what I mean? So that's really the idea behind this new venture. I want to particularly hone in on those ideas as I put out material. So I'm gonna filter all the songs through that context. So we just want to use the arts to tell this beautiful story of Christ in history, and we just gonna be pounding it out. So get comfortable, enjoy the rollout, and see what God has for you in this space, in this, collection of ideas. So learn, grow in the grace and knowledge of the Lord. Flame 2.0. Let's go.
I say before you go, check that extra note.